Hey everybody, welcome to Restoration Youth Front Porch Edition. That's what we're going to call this one today. And I'm sitting here taking some time to reflect on what's going on in the midst of this crazy situation. And I really wanted to just provide you guys with some encouragement and let you know where our conversation is going to head for the next couple of weeks. We're entitling a conversation, a series. I don't even know how long, but we're entitling it, Remember When. Remember when times were simple like this, where people used to come and, whoa, almost fell. Where people used to come and just sit on their front porch, drink some sweet tea, and there wasn't a worry in the world. Remember when life wasn't crazy, chaotic like it is right now. Remember when we didn't have to worry about our jobs or, where our food was coming from or where we were going to get toilet paper. Remember when life just was easier. And I think now is such a great opportunity to do that, to remember when life was like that, but also to remember when God was faithful, when He provided for us in the past, to remember when He was faithful to our parents, to our grandparents, even to the apostles, the disciples, the Israelites, to remember that He was faithful to Abraham, to Isaac, to Jacob, that He's the same God to them as He is today. And I wanted to share with you a story that starts that conversation. And it's found in Mark chapter 4. And if you have your Bibles, you can turn there with me. But Mark 4, starting with verse 35, it says, "As evening came, Jesus said to His disciples, 'Let's cross to the other side of the lake.' So they took Jesus in the boat and started out, leaving the crowds behind, although other boats followed. But soon a fierce storm came up. High waves were breaking into the boat, and it began to fill with water. Jesus was sleeping at the back of the boat with his head on a cushion, but the disciples woke him up, shouting, 'Teacher, don't you care that we're going to drown?' When Jesus woke up, He rebuked the wind and said to the waves, 'Silence, be still.' Suddenly the wind stopped, and there was a great calm. Then He asked them, 'Why are you afraid? Do you still have no faith?' The disciples were terrified. 'Who is this man?' they asked each other. 'Even the wind and the waves obey Him.'" And look, we could read that, and I could send you the link to a Lauren Daigle song, and we could all go home from there. But I think there's more to this story that helps us in our current situation. And the first thing is that we have to recognize in this story, the boat was filling up. All the worry, the anxiety, the even isolation, depression that we're feeling right now in this pandemic, in this crisis, is very similar to how the disciples were feeling, right? They're sitting there, and it just keeps piling on, and it seems like after every day in our lives, more and more just keeps being added to this situation. So the boat's filling up, and very similar to the disciples, we're sitting here going, "God, don't you care? Like, Jesus, don't you care that we're getting overwhelmed? We're getting isolated. Don't you care?" And He's here. I think He wants to encourage each one of us and let you know that yes, He does care, and He wants to speak peace and calm the situation in your life. More than that, He wants to use this opportunity to build your faith. Much like the disciples, He's asking us the question, hey, it's rhetorical. Why are you afraid? Do you not have faith? Do you still not have any faith? And what He's saying is your faith just going to be a fair weather faith? Is your faith, are you going to believe in me just when situations are good? Or are you going to believe that I'm the God who can rescue you? Are you believing that I am the God who can say to the wind and the waves, be still, and they will stop, and there will be a calm and peace in your life? The last thing that I have about this passage is is something that the disciples say. It's very interesting. They say, "Who is this man? Even the wind and the waves obey him." And for us, I think it's important that we understand that Jesus is not just a man. He's the God that created the universe. He's the God that put this whole thing into motion, that set the boundaries of the winds, or set the boundaries of the waves, and who breathed and the winds were moved forward. That's the God that we serve. So Jesus is saying, hey, do you have faith that I'm the God that was then and is the same God who is now? I was faithful then. Do you believe I can be faithful now? So I hope that encourages you, and that's where I want our conversations to continue to be about who God has been in the past, how he's been faithful in the past, and how when we remember that, when we remember what he's done for us in the past, it helps us get through our current situation. It helps us to recall when there are times of crisis, when there is fear and doubt. It helps us to say, but God, you calmed the wind and the waves then. You set this whole thing in motion. You were faithful then. You'll be faithful now. So I hope that encourages you. Stay tuned. We'll give you more content about some other stories, some other scriptures, some other even testimonies later on God's faithfulness in our lives. We'll talk to you soon.